think that the things you own you.
Okay.
And perhaps you could have a whole bunch of money. If you want to live a very simple life, then you have more freedom. That's true.
Yeah.
But if you're stupid like me and you have a whole bunch of money and 102 cars and 33 houses and 4 baby mamas and a jet and a yacht, and you
Sounds like a lot.
yeah, you start getting all this shit. You turn out that you don't own it. It owns you because every day you're getting problems.
Not too long ago, Andrew Tate was moving like he was untouchable, like nothing could reach him at all. He built this larger-than-life persona that had people really believing he had every part of life on lock, no questions asked. Whole crowds of young men were locked in, watching every move, soaking up every word, and shaping how they saw money, success, relationships, even masculinity based on what he pushed out. That kind of influence wasn't regular. It was huge, almost unreal. Most creators can only dream about that level of reach. Money was pouring in from his supporters. Business deals were stacking up, and his name kept popping up in controversial conversations, even catching the attention of law enforcement across different countries. Online, he carried himself like some untouchable king, like nobody could check him. Other creators weren't just linking up with him, they were basically lining up, ready to look foolish just to get a second near him.
Do something for me or not, Aiden?
Okay, but Kyle, can you come with me, bro? You're my best friend. We have to go to
I'll come with
Chile.
you. I got you. Are there bad bitches there?
I don't know if there are. I don't know if you'll be able to find them or if they'll talk to you. The point is, Aiden said
You
he'd do
know who
something
the
for me.
fuck I am?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
You're telling me a girl's fucking your bald ass over me?
Is that SpongeBob on your t-shirt?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Why am I talking to these children? Okay, you take your inhaler.
Just to be seen in the same frame. Back then, being connected to him actually meant something. It brought status, clout, attention, everything people chase online. That was his peak moment, when people were calling him Top G and meant it with full seriousness, no jokes involved. Now the vibe is completely different, and it's impossible to ignore. Instead of respect or fear, it's non-stop jokes and people clowning him every chance they get. The same internet that lifted him up is now tearing into him, and the image he spent years building is starting to crack in a big way.
On your X account to millions of people, you've said this: stop letting women vote, stop giving women position as judges, stop giving women political appointments. As soon as only men run government and law, all the problems disappear. Women now understand that without male protection.
The guy who once acted like he had total control is now sitting in interviews, admitting things might not be as perfect as he made them seem. That shift, from looking bulletproof to slowly getting exposed piece by piece, is clear now. And if you're trying to track where things started slipping, a lot of people point straight to when he stepped back into the ring after retiring from kickboxing in 2016 due to that serious eye injury. Tate made a quick return in 2020, took a few fights out in Romania, then stepped away again like it was nothing. Then out of nowhere, late 2025 hits, boom, another comeback gets announced, and this time it's supposed to be huge.
Is it fair to say that the greatest fraud check of all time happened on Saturday when Andrew Tate lost to Chase Damore?
It's an interesting philosophical question, because if you wrap in the persona part of it, then yes, like that's pretty
This might be the quintessential fraud check. If there was any sort of doubt about him winning, he should have never taken this fight. And now he's going online and he's doing the babyface thing of like, you have to live and I'd rather try and fail. No, that's not who you are. Your persona has nothing to do with it.
We're talking Misfits Boxing Heavyweight Championship. Big stage, big hype, all eyes on him. It was being pushed like a legendary return, like he was about to remind everyone exactly who he is. But that's not how it played out. Not even close. He ended up losing by majority decision to Chase Durr in a 6-round fight in Dubai, and the performance had people shocked, but not in a good way. His body looked finished way too early, like it just ran out of gas halfway through. It wasn't just a loss, it felt awkward to watch, almost uncomfortable, especially after all the talk leading up to it. He had built it up so much that when things went left, it hit way harder than expected. Fighting wasn't just some side thing for him, it was core to his whole image. Strength, toughness, dominance. That was the brand he sold. Even before stepping into that ring, he acted like it was light work, like he was about to walk through his opponent and remind everyone he's still that guy. But instead, everything flipped on him fast. There was no domination, no statement made. He got dropped, looked off balance, and didn't seem in control.
A big mouth, he likes to show off, likes to get clicks. It's exactly what I thought he'd be. He's just a product of the new generation. Like I said, I don't think he thinks properly before he talks. I think he will regret saying that. Well, I know he'll regret it. I'll make him regret it, but I think even himself, he'll regret saying that. I just don't think he was thinking of it. I've definitely missed the whole, the vibe of the gym, the camaraderie you have with the other people you're training with. I missed the brotherhood, but I knew exactly what I was getting in for. I knew exactly what I was going to be preparing for. I knew exactly what we were going to have to do. I knew how hard it was going to be. I was very excited by it, and we're coming to the end of that now. The training's been done. It's time to fight.
The internet wasted no time reacting either. It turned into straight jokes and celebration. People kept pointing out the irony, saying Andrew Tate spent years calling other men weak or emotional, only to get beat by someone wearing pink gloves.
Obviously, I didn't get the result I wanted, but truthfully, the result I wanted was to see if I could still do it. 40 years old, 10 years retired, a little bit of time in a Romanian dungeon. It was always going to be a big ask against someone so much bigger than me, younger than me, more active than me, but I wanted a real challenge. I didn't want to fight a tin can. I didn't want to fight someone older than me or smaller than me. I felt like I won the first 2 rounds, but then because he's 20 kilo heavier, he started leaning on me and sapped some energy. But I didn't quit. Never give up, never retreat, never surrender, fight to the end, go out on your shield. So I have no excuses. Training camp went fantastic. Time is the fire in which we all burn. Unfortunately, a 40-year-old's not a 22-year-old. I gave it my absolute all, and I have nothing but respect for Chase. I have no excuses. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. I'm not going to make up any reasons. He was the man who won.
That detail stuck and spread everywhere. Right after the fight, he tried to shift his energy, acting more humble, but it didn't land the way he probably expected. While saying, "I'm not making excuses," he kept stacking excuses back to back like it would change what everyone just saw. His brother Tristan Tate stepped in, trying to defend him and smooth things over publicly. But Andrew kept talking, kept explaining, and honestly, it just made the whole situation look worse. And here's the wild part. Months later, the excuses didn't slow down at all. They just kept coming, each one sounding more stretched than the last.
Me coming into this podcast studio was nerve-wracking. Me getting out of the car and making it into a building with nothing bad happening to me, I feel adrenaline. I lost my fight because I had so much adrenaline. I had like an adrenaline dump after the second round. I said to my coach, I feel weird. I have like some adrenaline dump. I don't know. I wanted to fight too much. It was the weirdest thing in the world. After the second round, I stopped punching. It was like fucking awesome.
But this is where everything really started to spiral out of control. Losing that fight wasn't even the biggest problem. What came next hit way harder. People started digging deep into his entire fighting history, not just that one match, and what they found had everyone raising eyebrows. An MMA creator named Napoleon broke it all down piece by piece, and the results weren't looking good. Around half of the wins Tate claimed didn't even have clear proof behind them. That alone had people questioning everything. And the fights that could actually be verified? A lot of those opponents didn't have real records outside of fighting him. That's a major red flag in combat sports. No way around it. It gets even crazier. Some of his so-called world titles came from matches against opponents who had zero background in the sport beyond those exact fights. One of those titles even came from beating someone with a losing record. That's not the kind of competition people expect when they hear champion. Across his whole career, he only faced a small number of fighters with winning records. And he didn't even win all of those. So now, the one part of his image people thought was locked in, his fighting credibility, suddenly didn't look so solid anymore.
My last fight didn't go the way it was supposed to go. Maybe it's a sign from God to try again. Maybe it's a sign from God to try, or I'm not sure, but it's hard to fight. I state this without arrogance. It's truly hard to fight with those. I've got a lot. I've got a lot of money. I've got things going on. I've got an empire to maintain. And I did really train hard for the last one. It didn't go my way. So I'm trying to work out what that message was.
And once that doubt got planted, it didn't stay in one place. It started spreading into everything else. Because if that part wasn't as real as it seemed, what else wasn't? Instead of stepping back and letting things cool off, he jumped straight into another controversy almost instantly. This time, it was what people started calling the HH incident. He was spotted in a Miami nightclub with Tristan, Myron Gaines, and Sneeko, all caught on camera during a moment that blew up online fast. The backlash came heavy and quick. People were not letting it slide, and once again, all eyes were locked on him.
A Miami Beach nightclub catching heat, accused of celebrating hate with a song about Hitler. Absolute disgust.
Disgusted, horrified.
City leaders reacting to videos making the rounds on social media featuring the Kanye West song with the lyrics "Heil Hitler" over and over again. The same men seen in the club, known as controversial influencers, are also in a video from a limo. In that one, they're singing, and one of them is performing a Nazi salute.
To have people in our city celebrating this. Animal.
His response? He claimed the whole situation was basically a setup, saying it only became a big deal because he was there. According to him, if he wasn't involved, nobody would have cared.
Honest with you, as for this ridiculous club event, I don't think it's gone viral organically, to be honest with you. I think that if I wasn't there, it wouldn't have gone viral. I think if Myron, Clav, Nick, and the other guy all stood there in the club and played that song, nobody would give it. I would argue they've done it many times before. They play it on their streams all the time. Nobody cares. It only went viral because I was there. And I don't think that's organic. I think that there is an extremely orchestrated campaign designed to make sure that my influence never reaches the level it was previously. I have criminal cases in many countries around the world. To believe that the constant, endless smear of me in the media is somehow organic and not an intelligence campaign is ignorance. And this video was deliberately pushed to damage my ability to defend myself.
But then he did something that caught even his own supporters off guard. Instead of standing solid with the people he was with, he started shifting the blame, pointing directly at Sneeko. Even though they were literally standing side by side in that moment, the move didn't sit right with a lot of people at all.
Always has some crybaby issue with me. And I could sit here and blame it all on him, but that's truthfully not, I don't know, that just feels wrong to me. But it is kind of ridiculous. It does feel a bit unfair that I'm standing in a nightclub. A song comes on that I did not request. A song comes on that I do not dance to. I do not repeat the lyrics to. I just stand there.
Wow, what a good goy. You don't dance. I'm a good goy. I didn't dance. I just stood there. I wasn't dancing like the rest of those anti-Semites. Look, what do you mean? Well, that's why I thought the song would be fine. I've seen this video. I wouldn't try to backstab you. I wouldn't play a song that would make you upset. Did you think I was setting you up? I don't understand the argument here, genuinely. And I want people to notice, like in 4K, like this is the Matrix.
It came off strange, and the reaction was instant. What followed was straight chaos, public arguments, back and forth shots, and things getting personal real fast. From Sneeko's side, it wasn't just about that one night either. He started calling out deeper issues, pointing to contradictions, saying the lifestyle they promote publicly doesn't match what really goes on behind the scenes. And based on his own beliefs, he made it clear he couldn't ignore that gap anymore. Just like that, what once looked like a tight, united circle started falling apart right in front of everyone, with all the drama playing out in public. Andrew Tate, on the other hand, has been pushing back hard on that whole narrative during multiple podcast appearances. Every time it comes up, he shuts it down quick, saying Sneeko is just chasing clout. He claims Sneeko only brings up his name when he wants views, attention, or numbers. But this time, the reaction felt different, and people noticed it. Back when he was at his peak, Tate could point his audience at someone, and they'd turn on that person instantly, no hesitation. Now, that same control didn't seem to be there anymore. Instead of backing him, a lot of people actually started siding with Sneeko, and that shift hit hard. The general vibe online was clear. If anyone looked overly focused on the situation, people were saying it was Tate, not Sneeko.
In the Quran, it says, never will the Jews and Christians really be accepting of you until you become one of them. The reason that they attack me, and the reason that you see these personal attacks and them trying to destroy my life, is because when I became Muslim, it defeats all these subculture ideologies, these religions within the manosphere, within the red pill. I never insulted Nick Fuentes. Find me a clip. You can see nonstop. I never have. Because I don't do this with my friends, or so-called. With Andrew Tate. Even then, when we see before the club across, he says, there's no beef, it's a political disagreements. Because when he promotes gambling, I call that out. It's not a personal attack, it's what you're doing. I don't attack people. I attack what they say, I criticize what they do. There can be political disagreements. And my belief is you can still be friends with people even if you disagree. I have people around that have a difference of opinion and I'm okay with that. For other people, it doesn't seem like it's reciprocated. Because Islam destroys the red pill ideology that you should sleep with 50.
And that created a much bigger issue than just a disagreement. Tate built his whole image on confidence, control, and never backing down. So when he started deflecting and pointing fingers, it didn't match the persona people had bought into. Instead of rallying behind him like before, a noticeable chunk of his own supporters started turning against him, and that's not something he's used to handling. Right in the middle of all that tension, an old clip resurfaced where Tate said reading books is basically a waste of time, and that only added more fuel to the conversation. People did not hold back at all. The reactions were ruthless. Comments were comparing him to a kid scrambling to explain why homework was not done, and the jokes just kept rolling in non-stop. People were clowning him about the last time he picked up a book without pictures, and it stacked up fast. He kept saying he did not care, claiming he was unbothered, but his reactions told a completely different story. It did not come off calm or controlled. It felt emotional, like the pressure was actually getting to him more than he wanted to admit. And that pressure was not just coming from the internet either. Things outside social media started piling up too. Reports were saying tensions in the Middle East were affecting some of his investments and business deals, possibly putting real stress on his financial setup. He spent years showing off that success, so naturally, pressure like that would hit anyone. But here is the problem. Sympathy is hard to find when people start looking closer at how he treats others around him, especially workers tied to his lifestyle in places like Dubai.
It's like the Smurfs. They're like, hello, sir. They're like little Smurfs. They're great people. They're great people. Yeah. But anyway, one of them asked to finish early because she wanted to go home to see her son who was visiting from the Philippines for the first time in 2 years. And the other cleaner wasn't cleaning fast enough. So I was in my room and then I heard all this Filipino. I was like, what the fuck? And I came out and the Filipinos were beating the shit. It was like a fucking fist fight between the Smurfs. Pacquiao came out. I was like, Smurfs. Enough. This is a house of love. True or false? True. True story. The Smurfs had a fucking fist fight. So, you know, the slaves sometimes get unruly. That is what it is. But yeah, I got slaves. You whip them? I don't need to. Because they know I will. So I don't need to. You know?
For someone who built his image on helping people escape unfair systems, he has been called out for benefiting from those same systems when it works in his favor. That contradiction stands out, and people are paying way more attention to it now. When you step back and look at everything, the comeback fight, the nightclub situation, the fallout with Sneeko, it all connects in one direction. The decisions have not looked sharp. This is someone who built a reputation on being calculated, disciplined, always thinking ahead. But lately, the moves feel rushed, reactive, and messy, and it shows. You can see it in how he carries himself now. The energy feels heavier, different, like everything is starting to weigh on him more than before. And this is where the irony really hits. Tate has said multiple times that depression is not real, that people should just toughen up and push forward. But now, watching his recent appearances, a lot of people are saying he does not look like someone who is completely fine. That contrast is something the internet refuses to ignore. His tone feels different, his outlook seems darker, and as more issues stack up, his public image starts to feel more disconnected. All the money, all the fame, all those years of telling people how to live. And now he comes across like someone who is not even enjoying it anymore. In interviews, he has even admitted that his position in the culture has shifted, saying he has been replaced by even more extreme personalities taking over the space. That is not a small thing to admit. At one point, he was dominating everything, so hearing that now hits completely different. It basically confirms the formula that made him famous is not working the same way anymore. Instead of leading the conversation, now it feels like he is chasing it, trying to keep up and stay relevant like everyone else. You can hear it in how he talks. There is frustration, there is tension, and it is obvious he is not comfortable with where things stand. Even then, he is still pushing hard to get reactions and keep attention locked on him.
I guess I was lucky when I first got famous. I feel like I was in a good position because the truth was the outrage. I could say the truth about being a man and the truth about being a woman, and the world was so cucked and we were so heavily censored that it was the outrage. I could tell the truth about COVID and it was the outrage. But now so much of the truth is actually out there that telling the truth isn't outrageous anymore. So now you got to find a new outrage. Yeah. So we go for racism and edgelording and all these crazy things to try and make people go, wow, he said that. But back in my day, I sound like an old man now, 3-4 years ago when I was really big, you know, the things that made national news 4 years ago when I said women couldn't drive, nobody would give a single now if you said that.
During a recent appearance on the Fresh and Fit podcast, he doubled down on his views, saying a woman's value comes from becoming a mother. He even extended that logic to his own daughters, which made people react instantly. That take did not go unnoticed at all, and it added even more backlash to everything already building around him. Watching his content now feels different. There is this vibe like he is just going through the motions, playing a version of himself he created years ago, but does not fully connect with anymore.
I'm good at ballet. I'm gonna go and do ballet, and I'm gonna take the money, and then if I need clothes, I'm gonna buy the clothes. I'm not gonna make my own clothes. I'm not gonna wire up my own house. I'm not gonna build my own lodgings. I'm not gonna cut my own grass. I'm gonna do the one thing I'm good at and take the money and exchange it for the things I'm not as good at. Right. Because if you decide to make your own clothes and build your own house, you're gonna actually be poor. So you win by optimizing your life, and you optimize your life by focusing on the one thing you are best at and taking that and exchanging it for all the things you are not good at. So I would say, and the reason I made that is so you understand this point. Optimally, the best thing a woman can do, what she is best at, is the only thing that men can't do, which is have children. That is the best way for you to win, because men can do basically everything else. Can do things. Completely right. I agree with you. Bro, I know I have a whole bunch of smart work for me. I have lawyers. I go to judges. I can do a lot of stuff. But what I'm saying is, her optimal, what we're best at, and the reason they're best at it is because no one else can do it, is having children. I pray my daughter at the age of 18 meets an older guy, 45, 46, gives her a house, gives her a Bentley, gets her pregnant, and gives me grandchildren. And if she comes to me and goes, Dad, what? My husband cheated on me. I'm gonna say, are you in the big mansion? Are you driving a Bentley? Okay, shut the up. Shut the up. He's taking care of you. If he stops paying your bills, if he stops protecting you, then come to me. But if you are completely protected and provided for, keep giving me grandchildren, because that is the best thing you can do with your life. I'm rich, your man's rich, you don't need to make money, that's a waste of time, you don't need a Birkin, you don't need a TikTok account, you don't need an Instagram account, don't sell for pennies, stop being an and give me grandkids. That's what I truly hope for my own daughter.
It feels like he is stuck performing a role he cannot walk away from, even if it no longer fits the same way. On top of that, the legal situation is still developing and adding more pressure. There has been increasing political attention in the UK calling for both Andrew and Tristan Tate to be extradited over serious allegations. After he was spotted in Hong Kong, Chris Philp called for urgent action, while Max Wilkinson pushed even further, demanding immediate steps to bring them back. Tate's legal team responded by saying any UK process has to wait until the Romanian case is fully resolved, and that position was officially accepted, meaning there is no legal gap right now. But then things escalated again. In March 2026, Hertfordshire Constabulary confirmed they were reopening an investigation into serious allegations from years earlier, making it clear they intend to review everything carefully, no matter how long it takes. There was a time when Tate looked like someone who could survive anything, like controversy would never stick to him. Now everything feels different. He has gone from being a figure people, either strongly supported or strongly opposed to someone widely seen as toxic, and being linked to him can now create problems for others. That is a massive shift. After taking hit after hit, the resilience he always talked about does not look as solid as it once did. The internet space he used to dominate is either moving on or reshaping his image into something else entirely. And if things keep going this way, that era where he was the most searched and most talked about person in the world is going to feel like a completely different time. And that is where things stand right now. A rise that once looked unstoppable is now facing pressure from every angle, with cracks showing more than ever. The big question now: can he actually turn it around, or is this the version of the story that sticks? If you made it this far, make sure you like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think he can bounce back, or is this the beginning of the end?